There's Mike. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, July 30th, 2012. I am going to go over the results of the live trading room and everything that we did or didn't do in the live trading room this morning. Let me start right out with the results. On the ES, we are plus 8 ticks on the morning. Oops, I'm trying to drag it over here for you. There you go. Plus 8 ticks on the morning. And on the NQ, we are plus 4 ticks on the morning. Okay, now I'll go over the trades that we took to set that up. I didn't take any YM or crude trades this morning, so I'm going to breeze through the YM and the crude, but let me just go through the trades that we did take first. Alright, let's see, let me scroll back over here on the NQ. Alright, here we were right out of the gate this morning. We had a short trade right here. What we look for, this is the actual setup here, guys, okay, for everybody who's in here for the first time. Wait, I should stop before I go any further. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to www.cfrn.net/apply and fill that form out. No credit card required. Just go out there, fill out the form, and you can have a free trial with us. That means 5 days in the live trading room, 2 hours a day, and also all the indicators. You get to use all our indicators and the platform that you see here with all the data feeds. All the data feeds that you see here, and then a whole bunch more. So you guys can really explore with that during your free trial. Alright, our goal during the free trial is to show you how simple the setups are, and a lot of times after the free trial, or even during the free trial, you guys will be making trades and taking profit. Alright, this morning this is the setup. When the red and blue line right here, which is the MA1, crosses down below the green line up here, which is the BBC, that tells you to start looking for short trades. Now, to get a short trade, you need price to pull away from the BBC, then come back up looking for an area of resistance. The area of resistance here is the green line, the BBC. Right? When it pulls back up to the BBC, you look down here and see if there is divergence on this indicator between the green line down here and the cycle portion of the slingshot, which is the red and blue line down here. Right here you can see we had nice bearish divergence. The green line was moving away from the red and blue line. Okay, it pulled back up, tested the BBC. When it does do that, you look for the down close. That's telling you that it's likely to continue in the direction that it came from. So I took that short right there. I took some profit, and that was good. The next one that pulled up right here, it pulled up and it gave us a down close. We didn't close a lower low. We ticked one tick lower. We didn't close a lower low. But I took the short right here anyway. It quickly stopped me out. So right there I was down a little bit. Over here there was a long trade. My entry over here was a little bit messed up, so I ended up taking a break even on this trade. I got in 2 ticks higher than where I wanted to get in, so I got out at break even on the trade rather than get in 2 ticks higher than where I wanted to get in. My entry was wrong, so I just got out of the trade. It did end up working out. Obviously, you can see we had bullish divergence down here. We had a bullish cross, a test of the BBC, an up close right here, and we had bullish divergence down here on the bottom. That means the green was moving away from the cycle portion. The cycle portion was overbought, suggesting we should go long. The up close was the momentum we wanted, moving up in that direction, and it went up. All right. The next trade that I took was another long trade right here. This arrow is pointing the wrong way. There was another long trade here. We had some bullish divergence. It wasn't the greatest setup because the cycle was red and started to head down toward us a little bit. I took the long anyway. I got a pretty good entry on this, and I took the long anyway. It went up this far, and when it went up that far and closed up above the MA1, I moved my stop to the MA1, which was break even, and it came back and stopped me out at break even. The next trade that I took was right in here. I took a short trade, and it ended up stopping me out. You see we had, again, the arrow's in the wrong place. We had bearish divergence. Price came up, tested the BBC, gave a down close. It did give us a few ticks profit, and then it turned around and it went against us. All right. There was another trade right in here where we had some nice bearish divergence. Okay. If anybody's got any questions, by the way, just type them in. Okay, just type them into the little question box that you have, and I will see them and answer them. The next opportunity here, we had the bearish cross. Price moved down. It came back up, tested the BBC. We had some bearish divergence at the time. You see right here, the green line is moving away from the cycle portion of the slingshot. Bearish divergence. It tested the BBC, gave a down close, and down it went. I missed that trade. It did it again over here. I didn't like this one as much because of the way that the cycle was right here. It was blue and moving up pretty strong. The next opportunity was right in here. We had bullish divergence, tested the BBC and gave an up close. I did take that and I took some profit on it. That is what put me back in the green on the morning. There was another short trade right in here. This was at 10:30. We were an hour into the morning here. We had a bearish cross, tested the BBC with a down close, bearish divergence. All right, right there, and it moved down nicely. So that was another opportunity there, and another one right there. This one did not go too far. All right, before it turned around. It gave a few ticks profit. I didn't actually take this one here, or this one, or this one. I didn't take any more, actually, in the morning. But there were more trades that set up. You can see right here we had bearish divergence, tested the BBC with a down close. Again, bearish divergence. Down on the bottom, tested the BBC with a down close, telling you to go short. Over here, when we finally had the up close, the cycle portion was red and started to head down. I didn't take this trade. I wasn't looking for any trades at this point right now on the NQ. I was looking at, actually at the time, I was looking at the ES more than anything else, because the ES was really tanking at that time. Then we get into the break-in here, and we didn't take any trades. All right, right now it just looks really choppy, so I am done trading the NQ for the morning. And those were the NQ trades. All right, so we ended plus 4 ticks on the NQ on the morning session. All right, now the ES. Well, let me just highlight a couple of things. All right, one right there. This over here. Okay, there's a couple of things that I want to show you with regards to the ES. Okay. Let me blow it up. Let's see, our first trade on the ES was right here. We had a bullish cross right here, and when price came back down and tested the BBC, we got long at the BBC. Because this is a larger time frame, we get long at the BBC. We don't necessarily wait for the up close. All right, I had drawn this trend line in. It's something that I had shown everybody in the partners meeting last week. Okay, Mike, I just read your message there. I had shown everybody how to use these things in the partners meeting last week. Anyway, we're looking for the close on the other side of that. I did get long, but the close on the other side was good for our trade. Now, this at the time was the high of the day. So when we had 2 points profit in the trade over here, I took it. And you can see it went up through our high of the day. Okay, that trade kept going up. We were trying to get long in here, all the way up here, and we finally did get long right up here. Okay, I got long there. And when price went to plus 1 point, it was actually plus 5 ticks, I think, something like that. I moved my stop up to break even because it was right at the MA1 and it was right at this trend line. The trend line held. It came back and stopped me out at plus 1 point. I mean, it stopped me out at break even. I'm sorry. It stopped me out at break even. Now, the market turned around and it came back up here. Now, I didn't draw this trend line, but I should have drawn this trend line. But I didn't draw this trend line this morning. When it gets on the other side of the trend line like that, that's when it pretty much opens the gate. Like over here, it got on the other side of the trend line and had a strong move up. Down here, when it closed on the other side of the trend line, obviously had a strong move down. When it gets on the other side of the trend line like that, that's when it pretty much opens the gate up and says, all right, it's likely to have a decent move short. What we were looking for here was a move down to the zone. All right, from here, the zone is 73, 74, I believe. It hasn't gotten there yet. It's almost there. But we got short here, and when it came down, it was at the MA1 again, and it was 11.14. I decided to move my stop to break even again. It wasn't at the zone, I'm sorry. It was at the MA1. It was plus 5 or 6 ticks, or plus 4 or 5 ticks, or something like that. It was plus a point, and that's when I usually move my stop to break even. And it did do that, and then I moved my stop to break even, and it came back and stopped me out. All right. You can see it did continue down. Once it got below that trend line, it just kept going down. All right. Now, right over here, if I were to draw a trend line on this, it would be right here. Like this. Okay, that would be the trend line. We don't have a firm close below it yet. But when we do, I expect we'll get down to 73, 74. One thing that I wanted to point out down here, guys, was this. Right here, when we had a pierce of the envelope, pierce of a blue envelope, at this point right here, price was at 82.5. That suggested it was going to get up to 87 or 82.5. It suggested it was going to get up to 87.5. It got up exactly to 87.5. All right, we went over that in the live trading room this morning. When I think Ed pointed out that that we had pierced, or Ron was the one who pointed out that we had pierced the envelope down here, and when we did, that suggested a 5 to 6 point move up to 87.5, 88.5, and it went the 5 points. It did it again over here. At the time, it was at 81.75, suggesting a move down to 76.75, and you can see it got down to 76.50 actually. 76.75 was right here, but it got down to 76.50. So we had those two spots right there that gave us 5 points each from those entries. Those aren't actual entries. If you took the following trade, in this particular case, we were trying to get long right in here, and I accidentally did get long at 83.50 in here, but I took it off at 83.50 because it wasn't a proper trade. But over here, where the short was over here, there was an opportunity to ride it, well, all the way down to the bottom, to 76 anyway, or not 76, but 76.5, 76.75 is what I mean. That's what it suggested. When you get a pierce like this, it gives you a range of the potential movement of the market, and then when you get the next trade set up that's in the direction of that range, gives you an opportunity to hold on for a little more. All right, those were the trades we took this morning. Now, I'll go over the crude trades that set up really quickly, and I can go over some of the YM trades as well. Right out of the open, we had some nice trade setups here on the crude, one there and one there. All right. I wasn't paying that much attention to the crude this morning, but there were a couple more in here. One right here tested. We had the bearish cross. It's the same exact stuff that we do on all the other 4-tick ranges. All right. We had the bearish cross, tested the BBC. There was your down close. We had some bearish divergence. It did go down. Okay. The next one was over here. We had a bullish cross, tested the BBC with an up close with bullish divergence down here. Okay. Bullish divergence right there. Up close. It did go up. Again over here, bearish divergence, tested the BBC with a down close, and it went down. Same thing right here on the short side. Too many closes underneath here for the long side. It did go up anyway, but there were too many closes underneath. Here was another short right here with a little bit of bearish divergence right there. Tested the BBC in a down close. Same thing over here. Tested the BBC with a down close with good bearish divergence on this one. Okay, right there. And that was pretty much it on the morning on the crude. The crude just wasn't all that active this morning, which was odd, but that was it on the crude. Now the YM, I didn't take any trades on the YM either. The YM was going, if you look at this right here, now this on the 1500 contract over here, once we got the bullish cross, this was the pullback down to the BBC. I had drawn in this trend line. I had said it's testing the BBC here, and if it's going to go up, it's probably going to go up to the zone, and it did go up to the zone. All right. After that, it tested the BBC again, and I drew in this trend line right here on the YM, and it never got back up above that trend line. Okay. So now it's trying to test the BBC again. It's even got some bearish divergence developing over here on the 1500 contract. We didn't take a single trade over there this morning. Now, over here on the 4-tick range, I highlighted a couple of times this morning, and just one or two it looks like. Yeah, just one opportunity there this morning. Coming out of the weekly trading zone, we had a bearish cross, pull back up and tested the BBC with a down close. We had some bearish divergence right in there. It did it again in here. Right here was the opportunity on that one with bearish divergence again down here. All right. Just trying to see if there are any more opportunities in here. It didn't actually hit the BBC there. We did have bearish divergence, but it didn't actually hit the BBC. And on the way back up, right here, I had a long trade. Okay, bullish cross. Price moved away from the BBC right in this area. Came back down and tested it right here with the bullish divergence. So it had the up close. And that's it. And that was it on the YM this morning. So we ended plus 8 ticks on the ES, plus 4 ticks on the NQ. No trades on the YM, no trades on the crude. All right. And that was it. No, Edward, it is not. All right. Guys, I'm going to stop the recording right here anyway. If you have any questions, just type them in. Hey, Robin is in here now. Okay.